Subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts. The badge she was gripping the armrest so tightly her knuckles went white. The angry voice echoed around the narrow airplane cabin, slicing through the low murmur of passengers settling in for the long flight. "You don't belong here," the man spat. "This is my flight, and I won't have you ruining it." Around them, eyes shifted uncomfortably. Some passengers averted their gaze. Others stared, stunned at the sudden outburst. The man's face was twisted with fury, red with outrage. He looked like a storm ready to break loose. She remained calm, though her heart pounded fiercely against her ribs. Her name was Maya Williams. She was not just a passenger. She was an FBI agent on a mission. And right now, the hatred radiating from the man beside her was palpable, suffocating. The cabin crew had approached, trying to defuse the situation. "Sir, please calm down," a flight attendant said, voice steady but firm. But the man was beyond reason. "I won't have her here," he snapped. "She should be removed." Maya said nothing at first. She knew better than to react in anger, but she wasn't going to back down either. With a slow, deliberate motion, she reached into the inside pocket of her jacket and pulled out the badge she carried with her always. It gleamed under the dim overhead lights, the unmistakable seal of the FBI. Gasps rippled through the cabin. The man froze. His eyes locked onto the badge, then flicked away, as if suddenly unsure what to do. "She's FBI," whispered a nearby passenger. The atmosphere shifted. The man's confidence drained. His fury turned to confusion. For a moment, no one spoke. Then, without warning, the plane jolted violently. The cabin lights flickered once, twice, then stabilized. A calm, authoritative voice came over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated. We have an unexpected situation that requires your attention." Maya's heart skipped. She scanned the cabin. The man was now staring at her, mouth slightly open but no words coming out. Something wasn't right. Why was he so desperate to have her removed? And what was the unexpected situation? As the plane leveled out, Maya felt eyes on her. Some curious, others fearful. She focused on the man again. His face was pale now, sweat beading on his forehead. Suddenly, he stood abruptly. "I'm reporting this." He barked at a flight attendant. Maya's voice was calm but firm. "Sir, I am authorized. Personnel, if there is a problem, you should speak to me." The man hesitated, his face twisted in anger, then disgust. "Authorized? You think your badge means you can do whatever you want?" he sneered. Maya's jaw tightened. "This isn't about power," she said quietly. "It's about safety and law." The flight attendant motioned for the man to sit, but the tension was electric. Maya could feel it humming in the air like static. The passengers around them whispered nervously. Suddenly, a sharp scream pierced the cabin. Maya's head snapped toward the rear. A woman was slumped over, clutching her chest, her face pale and sweating. Maya pushed past the crowd, moving toward the woman. Her FBI training kicked in instantly. "Help," she called out. The woman's breaths were shallow. Maya kneeled beside her, feeling the panic rise in the crowd. "Stay with me," Maya said, taking the woman's hand. The flight attendant was already grabbing the emergency medical kit. As the cabin descended into chaos, the man who'd tried to have Maya removed leaned in close. "You don't belong here," he hissed. Maya looked him in the eyes. "And yet here I am," he sneered, then pulled back. The woman's condition worsened. Maya monitored her vitals, shouting for assistance. The plane suddenly hit turbulence, rocking hard. Passengers gasped and gripped their seats. Maya's mind raced. Was this just a storm? Or was someone trying to cause more harm? In the midst of the chaos, Maya's phone vibrated silently in her jacket pocket. She pulled it out cautiously. A message flashed on the screen. "They're watching you. Trust no one." Her blood ran cold. Her gaze swept the cabin again. Every face seemed to hide a secret. The man who'd tried to remove her was now watching intently. Eyes narrowed. Maya felt a knot tighten in her stomach. Who were they? And why was she the target? The captain's voice came over the intercom again. "Ladies and gentlemen, please remain calm. We are assessing a technical issue." Maya wasn't convinced. Technical issues on a flight carrying someone like her. Too many coincidences. She needed answers. She scanned the cabin for the flight crew. One young flight attendant caught her eye. Maya motioned discreetly. The attendant approached quietly. "I'm FBI," Maya whispered. "There's something wrong." Here the attendant nodded, eyes wary. "They've been acting strange all day," she murmured. Maya's heart pounded faster. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed from the rear. Passengers screamed. Maya sprang into action, moving toward the source. The man from before was nowhere to be seen. The crowd parted as she pushed forward at the rear. A small fire smoldered near the galley. Smoke filled the air. The cabin crew rushed to douse it. Maya's mind raced sabotage. She pulled out her phone again. Another message. "Leave now or else." Her fingers trembled. She wasn't just on a flight. She was in the middle of a conspiracy, and the only way out was through the storm. The pilot's voice cut through the tension. "We're diverting to the nearest airport." Relief rippled through the cabin, but Maya knew this was far from over. She looked at the passengers. Innocent people caught in a deadly game. Her mission was clear. Find the truth, protect the innocent, and survive. As the plane descended, Maya's eyes locked on the man who'd tried to remove her. He smirked, as if daring her to fight. She didn't flinch. Her hand went to her badge. Her voice was steady. "This flight isn't over. Not by a long shot." Shadows in the sky. The roar of the engines filled the cabin as the plane began its slow descent toward the nearest airport. Passengers clutched their armrests, wide-eyed, whispering prayers and hopeful murmurs. Maya sat upright, her gaze locked on the man who had tried to have her removed earlier. His smirk hadn't faded, but behind it, she sensed fear that was far deeper than anger. Maya's phone buzzed again. She discreetly checked the screen. "There, closer than you think." Her pulse quickened. Whoever they were watching her every move. She needed answers. But first, the woman in the aisle seat had been stabilized by the flight attendants. Maya had stayed by her side, quietly monitoring her condition. The woman's breathing was more even now, but Maya knew that danger wasn't over. She turned to the flight attendant who'd confided that the crew had been acting strange all day. "Tell me everything," Maya urged quietly. The young attendant glanced around nervously. "I shouldn't say much, but some of the crew have been receiving odd instructions from higher-ups, strange phone calls, orders to keep certain passengers away from the cockpit, and to watch the black passengers more closely." Maya's heart sank. The discrimination was no accident. It was part of a larger plan. The plane touched down with a heavy thud, tires screeching against the wet runway. Emergency. Vehicles swarmed the tarmac as the plane slowed and taxied to the gate. Inside, tension still clung thickly. Maya stood, ready to disembark but held back by the captain's announcement. "We will be conducting a thorough security check before passengers deplane." Her eyes flicked to the man who'd opposed her, now watching carefully. Outside, security personnel boarded the plane, their expressions unreadable. Maya's mind raced. She was about to step into a trap. She scanned the crowd and spotted Alex, an FBI colleague who had flown in as backup after learning of her mission. She motioned discreetly to him. Alex nodded and moved toward her as the security sweep began. Maya spoke quietly to Alex. "They want to isolate me. I don't trust anyone on this flight anymore." Alex's jaw tightened. "We need to get you somewhere safe, and fast." But before they could move, the captain's voice came over the intercom again. "There is an issue with one of the cargo doors. We need to investigate before deplaning." Maya's eyes narrowed. Cargo doors don't just fail randomly. Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out. The cabin plunged into darkness. Panic erupted. Passengers shouted, the air thick with fear. Maya's voice cut through the chaos. "Everyone stay calm. Follow the crew's instructions." She reached for her phone, but no signal. The plane shuddered as emergency lighting flickered on. Alex grabbed her arm. "This is no accident. They're trying to keep us trapped." Maya nodded grimly. She moved toward the cockpit door but found it locked tight. A message blinked on the door's control panel. "Unauthorized access prohibited." Her badge wasn't enough. Behind her, footsteps hurried. A shadow loomed. Captain Harris, the man who'd been hesitant before. "We need to get out," he said urgently. Maya didn't trust him, but time was running out. They moved together toward the cargo hold. The cargo hold was dark and cold. The emergency door was sealed. Maya's heart pounded as she tried the release lever. It didn't budge. Suddenly, a loud bang shook the fuselage. The plane tilted sharply. Passengers screamed. Maya steadied herself. She turned to Harris. "We're running out of time." Harris nodded. "I'll try the cockpit override. You handled the passengers." As Harris disappeared down the narrow corridor, Maya faced the terrified passengers. She spoke firmly. "We're going to get through this. Stay calm." Minutes passed, like hours. Suddenly, the emergency lights flickered again. The cockpit door hissed and unlocked. Harris emerged, looking pale but relieved. "We're clearing the cargo door," he said. "We need to act fast." Maya moved to the door control panel. With a hiss, the door slowly opened. A blast of cold air hit them. Outside the cargo hold, a figure waited. It was the man who'd tried to remove Maya earlier. He smirked. "You think you've won?" Maya stepped forward, unafraid. "This isn't over." A sudden explosion rocked the plane. Flames burst near the rear. Passengers screamed. Maya grabbed a fire extinguisher. She and Alex moved to contain the blaze. The man retreated into the shadows. Maya's phone buzzed again. "You're running out of time." Her breath caught. She realized the conspiracy ran deeper than she imagined. As the fire died down, Maya turned to Alex. "We need to expose them before more lives are lost." Alex nodded. "But first, we have to survive." The plane stabilized. Emergency crews waited on the runway. The passengers prepared to disembark. But Maya knew the fight was far from over. She looked at the crowd faces filled with fear, hope, confusion. Her mission was clear: uncover the truth, bring justice, and survive. The web tightens. The plane had landed, but the true ordeal had only just begun. The fluorescent airport lights outside illuminated the anxious faces of the passengers, who now knew that this flight was no ordinary journey. Whispers passed like wildfire through the cabin about strange orders, suspicious crew, and the woman with the FBI badge at the center of it all. Maya Williams sat quietly near the exit, eyes scanning the crowd, noting every fearful glance, every subtle movement. Beside her, Alex remained alert, his hand never straying far from his concealed weapon. "Stay close," Alex murmured, barely audible. Maya nodded. Trust was scarce, but Alex was the one person she felt had her back. Suddenly, a uniformed officer stepped forward, clipboard in hand. "FBI agents, you're to come with me for questioning." Maya's stomach clenched. Was this a routine security check, or something more sinister? As they followed the officer through the sterile airport corridors, Maya's phone buzzed again. "You're surrounded. Watch your back." Her heart pounded harder. She glanced around. Passengers and crew mingled freely, but something in the way they moved felt calculated. Rehearsed in a small interrogation room, the officer sat across from them. "Agent Williams, we've had reports of a security breach on that flight," he said, eyes cold. "You've been causing quite a stir." Maya leaned forward, voice steady. "There was sabotage on board. A fire, attempts to remove me from the flight. I'm here to investigate." The officer's face hardened. "Careful, Agent. Not everyone is who they seem." Outside the room, a familiar voice crackled over the airport PA system. "All personnel, be advised, lockdown in effect. Do not leave your stations." Maya's eyes met Alex's. "We're trapped." Suddenly, the door swung open. Two men in suits entered. "We need to talk," one said, flashing badges from a federal agency. Maya hadn't heard of. Maya's instinct screamed danger. "Who are you?" she demanded. "We're here to help," the other said, but Alex wasn't convinced. "We don't know who to trust," he whispered, back in the interrogation room. The tension thickened. Maya's mind raced. Her husband's betrayal flickered. At the edge of her thoughts, what secrets was he hiding? The men left, but their warning lingered. "Stay alert. The enemy is closer than you think." Maya's breath hitched. Suddenly, the power went out. Darkness swallowed the room. A whispered voice came through the crack in the door. "Agent Williams, you're in danger. We're watching." Maya's hand went to her badge. "I'm not afraid." The lights flickered back on. The door creaked open. A woman stepped inside, her face familiar, but cold. "You don't know the whole story." Maya's heart pounded. "Who are you?" The woman smiled a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I'm here to protect you, and to make sure the truth comes out." As the woman spoke, Maya realized the fight for justice was far from over. The real enemy wasn't just the man on the plane. It was the web of lies, betrayal, and power that surrounded her. Shadows and secrets. The woman who had stepped into the room closed the door softly behind her, the faint click echoing ominously in the sterile interrogation chamber. Maya's eyes narrowed, searching the stranger's face for any sign of truth or deception. "I'm Agent Rachel Pierce," the woman said, voice calm but urgent. I'm with an internal FBI division. We've been tracking a conspiracy within the airline industry for months. Maya's pulse quickened. Then why didn't anyone tell me? Why was I left in the dark? Rachel's eyes flickered with regret. Because the threat runs deep. Some of our own are compromised. That man on the plane, the one who tried to get you removed, he's part of it. Maya's mind reeled. The man's smug defiance now made chilling sense. Why me? Maya demanded. Because you're a threat. You expose their secrets just by being there. They want to silence you permanently. The door suddenly creaked open again, and a guard peeked in. Rachel motioned for him to stay outside. Maya's phone buzzed again. She glanced at the screen. Trust no one. They're everywhere. Rachel's face hardened. That message is real. You're being watched 24/7. Maya swallowed hard. The paranoia she'd fought was no longer paranoia, it was truth. Your husband, Rachel said carefully. He's involved. We have evidence he's connected to the network. Pain stabbed through Maya's chest. The man she had loved betrayed her in ways she never imagined. Why? Maya whispered. Rachel shook her head. We don't know all the reasons yet, but he's part of the puzzle. Suddenly, the room's lights flickered, and the power cut out again. Darkness swallowed them. Maya's breath hitched. A soft click echoed. The door unlocked. Rachel looked at Maya, eyes wide with warning. Run. They bolted down the hallway, their footsteps echoing. Voices shouted behind them orders to stop the suspects. Maya's heart pounded. Every corner seemed to hold danger. They ducked into a storage room and slammed the door shut. Inside the cramped space, Maya's hands trembled. Who can I trust? She asked. Rachel's voice was steady but grim. No one. But you have me. Maya nodded. Hope flickered despite the fear. Suddenly, a message popped up on Maya's phone. Meet me at gate 17. Midnight. Alone. Maya stared at it. Is this a trap? She asked Rachel. We don't know, Rachel admitted. But it might be our only chance to find the truth. Maya's mind swirled with questions. Her husband, the corrupt network, the threats. But one thing was clear. If she didn't act, she might never see tomorrow. The hours dragged as Maya prepared for the midnight meeting. Her thoughts churned. Cliff, she trust Rachel. Was the message genuine? What awaited her at gate 17? Finally, the time came. Maya slipped through the airport corridors. The shadows, her only companions. Her phone buzzed again. Come alone. No one watches if you don't answer. Her heart raced. At gate 17, a lone figure waited in the dim light. Maya's breath caught. It was her husband. Confrontation at gate 17. Maya's footsteps echoed softly in the empty terminal as she approached gate 17. The sterile lights flickered above, casting long shadows that danced along the walls. Her heart thudded in her chest, part fear, part determination. The message on her phone had been clear. Come alone. No one watches if you don't answer. Now, standing just a few feet away, was the man she had once trusted most, her husband David. His face was pale, eyes heavy with exhaustion and guilt. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The years of love and betrayal hung heavy in the air, thick as the silence between them. Maya, he began, voice rough. I never wanted it to come to this. She folded her arms, trying to keep her voice steady. Why, David? Why were you part of this conspiracy? Why betray me? Betray everyone? He swallowed hard. I had no choice. They threatened my family. I was scared. Her eyes burned with anger and heartbreak. You let fear make you a traitor. David's gaze dropped. I'm sorry. I tried to warn you, but they're too powerful. Maya's mind raced. Was this remorse real, or another lie in a web of deception? Before she could respond, footsteps approached. David's eyes widened. They found me. Two men in dark suits appeared, their faces grim. Time's up, one said coldly. Maya's instincts kicked in. She grabbed David's arm. We have to get out now. David nodded, fear and relief mixing in his eyes. Together, they sprinted down the corridor. The men closed behind. Turning a corner, Maya spotted a service door slightly ajar. She pushed through, pulling David inside. The door slammed shut behind them. Inside the cramped maintenance room, Maya pressed, her back against the cold wall, catching her breath. David looked at her, eyes pleading. I can help you expose them. Maya hesitated. Could she trust him? Her phone buzzed again. A new message. Don't listen to him. He's part of the plan. Maya's breath hitched. Conflicted, she looked at David. Are you lying to me? David shook his head. No, I want to make this right." Suddenly, the room's lights flickered. A hidden camera blinked in the corner. Maya's heart sank. They were being watched outside. The men communicated quietly. "Move in," one ordered. Inside. Maya grabbed a heavy wrench. She held it tight. David nodded. The door rattled. "Open up," a voice demanded. Maya's grip tightened. "We fight," she whispered. The door burst open. The men charged in. A fierce struggle erupted. Maya swung the wrench, knocking one man down. David tackled the other. In the chaos, Maya's badge fell to the floor. One man lunged for it. She kicked him away. Grabbing the badge, breathing heavily, they darted through a narrow corridor. David pulled out a hidden key. He swiped it on a nearby door. The door clicked open, revealing a secure room filled with computers and files. "This is it," David said. "Evidence." Maya felt a surge of hope. As David worked the computers, Maya guarded the door. Minutes later, files loaded: emails, recordings, payments, proof of the airline's corruption. Maya's phone buzzed again. A video message appeared. Her stomach dropped. The video showed her husband handing over a thick envelope to a man in shadows. His face was tense, afraid. David's eyes met hers. "I had no choice," he whispered. Maya's world shattered. But there was no time to mourn. The men outside were closing in. David said urgently, "We have to get this to the authorities. Now." Maya nodded. Together, they downloaded the files onto a secure drive. As the men broke down the door, Maya and David slipped out a side exit. They burst into the night air. Sirens wailed in the distance. Help was coming. Maya looked at David. "This ends now. Truth, justice, and redemption." The night air was cold and sharp as Maya and David ran through the deserted airport outskirts. Sirens wailed faintly in the distance, a promise that help was near. Yet, between them lay a chasm deeper than any physical distance, a gulf of betrayal, secrets, and broken trust. Maya's grip on the small data drive tightened as she fought to steady her breath. This was more than evidence. It was the key to exposing a sprawling corruption network that had threatened her life and so many others. David stumbled, clutching his side. I don't know if I'll make it through this," he admitted, voice weak. Maya glanced back at him, her eyes softening despite the storm of emotions raging within her. "Then fight," she said quietly. "Not just for you but for the truth." For a moment, they moved in silence, the weight of what had happened settling like a stone in Maya's chest. Emergency responders arrived, surrounding them quickly. Agents swarmed the perimeter, securing the scene. Maya flashed her FBI badge, and the tide of authority finally turned in their favor. Medical staff rushed to David's side while Maya was whisked away to a secure command center. Inside, she was briefed on the unfolding investigation. The files they recovered triggered a cascade of arrests and revelations. Airline executives, corrupt officials, and complicit crew members were swept into custody. The conspiracy was far-reaching, a web of lies woven over years. Yet, amid the justice, Maya faced a personal reckoning. Her husband's betrayal cut deeper than any external threat. She sat alone in the sterile room, memories flooding back: love, trust, heartbreak. When David recovered enough to meet her, his eyes were filled with regret. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I thought I was protecting you. I was wrong." Maya looked at him, tears threatening to spill. "Sometimes," she said, voice breaking, "losing everything is the only way to find who you really are." The media storm erupted. Maya's story captured hearts and headlines, a tale of courage, survival, and unmasking the darkness behind a trusted institution. Messages poured in from around the world: survivors, victims, and those fighting their own battles. Months later, Maya stood at a memorial honoring those lost to the airline's corrupt practices. The crowd was quiet, reflective. She spoke, voice steady and clear. "We carry their memories with us. Their stories remind us that justice is a journey, not a destination, and that even in the darkest skies, light can find a way through." Her journey had been painful, filled with betrayal and danger, but it had also transformed her, from broken to empowered, from silenced to heard. As she looked to the horizon, Maya knew the fight for truth would never truly end, but neither would her courage. End of story.